Hi, I'm Dan from Ozgel,
And I'm Niall from the Sloperators.
and today we're going to have a chat with the captain of the Sloperators. All right, Niall, run us through who you are. So what's your background? How'd you get into gel ball?
So my name's Niall Clark. Originally, I had no idea what gel ball was. I moved to Brisbane. I used to be in the military, so I moved to Brisbane from Sydney. And I saw a post on Facebook from Dan. He was going to, I think it was Spec Ops, and he was taking all his gel balling. I saw a couple of posts about it, and I wasn't quite sure what it was about. So I went and had a game and had a run, and then from there it was a very, very slippery slope into what is now known as the Sloperators. We started off with 2 or 3 dudes, and now we've got a team of, I think we've got about 16 here in the southeast corner, and we've got a whole team in Townsville as well. But yeah, my background, I joined the military when I was 19, I think, and I did just over 13 years in the Army, and that's where I met Dan back in here in Brisbane back in 2008, 2009.
Thereabouts, yeah.
And then, I left the Army in 2019 to go and do some private security stuff.
Excellent. All right, so gel ball, how easy was it for you to get into?
Well, for me personally, coming from a military background, it was super easy because the weapons are nearly identical to what I've already played with. So for me, it was relatively easy to cross over. It was no issue. It was good fun. The only difference was it didn't hurt as much as paintball.
Yeah, I still remember those initial messages you sent me from that first time you were asking about gel ball as well. And I mean, look, we've probably got a lot of mutual friends out there that are watching this podcast. And what I'll say to you guys is Niall was in your boat where you're seeing some of the cool stuff that I'm sharing. You're thinking, oh, do I want to get into gel ball? All you have to do is message me, reach out, we'll bring you out to a game. Trust me, it is amazing fun. You don't have to be crazy fit. You don't have to be any particular kind or style of person. You just come out, have a game, heaps of fun.
I went from being very skeptical and not really knowing much about it, and it kind of looked like one of those things that you see your sister playing on the weekend. And then I went and had a game, and I was like, holy crap, this is actually a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, here we are. 3.5, 4 years later.
I think a lot of that skepticism you're talking about, that seems to come from the perspective of people on the outside of gel ball. When they look in, they think they're going to turn up to a game and there's going to be a whole heap of people playing dress up, pretending to be something they're not, all that sort of stuff. And, not that there's anything wrong with that, but
I think that sort of comes in with the milsim stigmatism of it. It's not all about milsim. Yes, there is the milsim side and aspect of it.
Yep.
But there is the CQB side, the Speedy Boy side, which is what we more focus on, which is a lot different to the getting dressed up in cams and.
But you say, I also find that when you rock up to your first game, generally you're not greeted by people that are so full on into their milsim that you feel awkward and uncomfortable. And a lot of people are very welcoming.
Yeah, everyone wants to. If you rock up to a game and you have no idea of anything about gel ball and you look lost, most people will give you advice, point you in the right direction. And if you're there as an individual and you've never been part of a team, you just heard about it and you wanted to rock up, most people will let you run with their team for the day. Like there's been a couple of dudes that we've done it for back in the Guerrilla Blaster days. In the alley, we had random dudes rock up that wanted to have a run around and see what it was like, and we had them play with us a few days here and there.
I do remember those days. They were fantastic. That was back when I was playing gel ball all the time with yous.
It was.
I do miss those days.
They were some of the best gel ball days, like the Guerrilla Blasters alleyway. Then they moved to the comp. The comp was that very first comp they ran that we won. That was an amazing comp. The field that they had set up for that was spectacular. Not saying the field now isn't. It's just it's turned into a big beast. It's
while
good.
We're on that subject of competitions, so there was quite a lot of controversy surrounding Speedsoft Australia back in the day. A few things happened there. You want to give us a little bit of insight?
Well, with Speedsoft Australia, we did a lot behind the scenes to help them get off the ground. And then we did a massive filming day. I think, pretty sure, was Kelso Winner on that filming day? I think he was. Where we filmed a whole heap of promotional stuff to send to Speedcuber USA to get it off the ground. We did quite a lot for them, and it was amazing. It looked good. We were in there. And then, I'm not sure what happened in the background, but then we sort of got ousted by the guys at Speedsoft Australia. Apparently, we said something that they didn't like, and that was the end of that. We got the fucking boot.
Yeah. Unfortunately, probably some other reasoning in the background there. But
there's a lot of background politics.
The good thing about it now, though, TAC Edge have obviously taken up the reins of Speedsoft Australia. So, yeah, I caught up with Peter Clark at Tack Edge there, and one of the first things that he mentioned to me was, look, I've got a level with you. I've actually taken SpeedQB, and I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff with SpeedSoft Australia, and he thought that I'd be a little bit upset about that. But one of the things I said to him was, no, it's actually a good thing. It's good. Tack Edge, a company that's quite competent, is able to take the reins on this and move forward. So
run with it. And now they've got a fairly well established competition. They've got another season coming up.
Fantastic looking field.
They got a lot of teams and a lot of new teams. I think they've got 17 teams in there now.
Yeah.
A couple of teams have got 2 teams from the one team.
And it looks like Richard Gillespie from Defiance, it looks like he's really stepped up and started having a lot more involvement in running the competition, which I think is a great choice because he's a really well-liked guy in the industry and a good sportsman as well, so really good. So shout out to Richard and rest of you guys in Defiance.
Yep.
Yeah, so now while we're on that topic of competitions, let's talk Wacol.
Yep, Wacol. Got Wacol coming up on the 24th of January. Run by CQ Blasters.
Yep.
That's going to be a massive one because if you win this round, you'll get a golden ticket essentially into the national tournament. There's already 2 teams I think that have got their in.
Yeah.
There's a couple of comps that are getting around at the moment where you win it and you'll get a slot in. This one being one of them. Now we played Wacol with CQ Blasters back in November, I think it was. And we did quite well. We got 4th overall. But this time, with the amount of training we've got, the people we've got on the team, I think we've got a good chance of having a podium finish, hopefully.
And man, look, guys, I come along to these training sessions the slot operators do. I don't participate, I just come along, catch up with them, have a chat. And, you guys are looking really, really strong for these upcoming seasons, a lot more fit and a lot more of a cohesive team.
Well, a lot of the training outcomes, I think we can shout out to Macca for that from
Macca
from Dye. Yep, he has had a lot to do with our training. Coming from the professional paintball scene, we've sort of taken the knowledge that he has and put it into our team in the way that we run things on a gel ball field on this one actually. So that should make for a bit of a different gameplay.
I think you guys are going to surprise a lot of people this year. So
yeah, it will be good. Well, we had 2020 wasn't really a great year for us.
Yeah.
But it wasn't really a great year for anyone with all the COVID restrictions and other rubbish that happened. So, but Wacol is going to be a big one.
Excellent. No, that's good. And look, speaking of Wacol, special shout out to CQ Blasters. I mean, Damo Geyer up there, the work he's done to get this league going. So it's called the Australian Gel Ball League. Amazing work. He's got people involved from all over the state. There's One Shot Gel Blasters in Townsville. He's got a bunch of fields down the south side, and Travis Goldie over at Wacol there. He's also hosting the Southeast Corners regional competition and the finals, I believe.
Yeah, I think so too, yeah.
Yeah, so really, really cool. But and then there's also golden tickets, so places like Gel City, I think GelSoft Australia, SSA.
Hardcore
Speedball.
They're doing one.
Yeah. So if you compete in any of those competitions, you've got a chance to get into this, so that's really good.
CQ Blasters are actually running another tournament this weekend in Rockhampton on the 17th. If anyone wants if anyone's in the area and wants to get out and check that out, that should be a good weekend as well.
Excellent.
We originally thought that we were going to send a team up for it. But with how the holidays have sort of happened, it sort of didn't really progress. But that's fine. We'll just rock up.
Didn't really work out.
We'll rock up to Wacol on 24th and tear some people apart.
But hey, let's switch the subject. So slightly off topic a little bit here, but you did say that you were caught overseas earlier on in the year. So run us through that story. So Niall is a private security contractor, if you didn't know already, and he went away for work at the start of the year.
I did. I flew out of Oz on the mid-February 2020, and then that's sort of when I flew out. COVID was a thing, but it was sort of still just a China kind of thing. It hadn't really progressed to the Western world.
Yeah.
And then sort of a couple of months ticked by, and then borders for different countries in the Middle East started closing, then Europe started closing, and then Australia jumped on board and closed it to everyone because of Ruby Princess infected everyone.
And next thing you know?
Yeah, next thing I knew, it was sort of June, July had gone past, and I was still stuck at work. Didn't end up getting back in the country until late November, which was stressful for everyone.
And you weren't stuck in a very nice area too.
No, it wasn't ideal. Definitely not first world anyway.
Yeah, definitely. And you got a young family back here too, which would have made things more difficult.
Yeah, the missus was she wasn't overloaded, but being away for so long and just having her and dealing with my daughter at the same time, and because of all the restrictions, not really having any other adult interaction, it's kind of would be a toll just having you and an 8-year-old to entertain your day wouldn't be fun. Then the whole homeschooling thing, plus trying to do university online, it wasn't ideal.
So much happening at once.
It wasn't ideal.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Well, good on you, Taylor, for doing such a good job out there.
I'm sure she'll see it.
Yeah, excellent. All right. So look, let's talk about future. What is happening for the Slops this year?
Well, we've got a lot of big things planned. Like every major comp that comes up, we're going to make sure that we hit it, whether we hit it with one team, two teams, or three teams. We're going to get in there. Wacol being the first on the 24th, and then Gel City is going to run their second round of their comp because it's been postponed 2 or 3 times now. 7th of February, that one's coming up. We've got Hardcore coming up as well. We're not sure if we're going to field the team for that one yet because it's a midweek comp, makes it a little bit trickier for work commitments and stuff like that, but we're going to push for a team. But then moving forward from that, we've just got the world's our oyster, really, because we've got a great sponsor, got a great bunch of dudes on the team from everywhere, from down the Gold Coast all the way up to here, plus our team up in North Queensland as well.
Shout out to the Slops Far North Queensland.
So there's a lot of stuff that's going to happen over the next 12 months. It's going to be massive, and then that sort of leads into when travel restrictions do ease up internationally, that sort of leads into international gigs later down the road.
Well, what I can tell you, through all of these podcasts, especially with some of the international personalities, there are a lot of people overseas looking towards Australia to try and involve the Australians in international airsoft competitions somehow. I think a lot of them are starting to realise now that there are some similarities there that can transfer across. So I think there's some very exciting times ahead for Australians.
Absolutely.
And I think this National League, it's the first step towards a really good thing that will put Australia on the map for that style of skirmish sport.
It will. Obviously, we're not going to have airsoft here anytime soon, but once those other countries that do have airsoft see what we can do with gel ball and then sort of learn a little bit more about it, I think they'll be more understanding to have us go over there and play in their comps or come here and play in our comps until we reach a point where we have airsoft as well, and then it'll just be a free-for-all.
Yep. Well, look, let's end it there. Mate, thank you very much for coming along today.
No worries.
And so, Niall, can you tell us how the viewers at home can find the Slop Raiders?
So you can find the Slop Raiders on Facebook at the Slop Raiders. Same on Instagram. They're our 2 biggest ones. We've always got stuff going on Facebook.
Cool. Awesome. And guys, as always, I'm Dan from Ozgel, and you can find Ozgel at www.ozgel.com.au. That's our webpage. And then we're on all the social media platforms as Ozgel, or on Instagram, we're on as Ozgel Ammo. That's all we've got for you today, guys. Catch you later.
Catch you later.
See ya.